Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Rajpal and this is the 14th video in the ongoing lecture series on advanced vocabulary. And through this lecture series, we are covering up vocabulary from Dr. Shashi Tharoor's book, An Era of Darkness. 13 videos have previously been uploaded. If you are new on this channel, kindly watch them and increase your linguistic competence, which is very essential for your all-over growth. And this is a must-watch video as I'm taking up the focal points of the book through the PPT in this video. This is the second last video of the ongoing lecture series. So as per the previous pattern of the previous videos on the same topic, I'm sharing the PPT with you, and here we go with the first slide. Word combinations, phrases, focal points. Skilled tactician, riven by fighting, crisis our confidence brewing in Muslim community, post-dated check on a crashing bank. This is a very wonderful expression for something that is useless, and not only useless, but that's risky one, involving risk. Post-dated check on a crashing bank. So you are not only taking a post-dated check, but even that is on the crashing bank. So all loss seems inexcusable. Seems inexcusable. Quit India became the drumbeat of a national awakening, but all it did was to prolong the nation's continued subjugation. Hot-headed, woefully unequipped to contest, dispirited and ill-organized. Something that is not properly organized, and even there is no proper spirit into that. So dispirited and ill-organized. We can use this phrase or this word combination. Like the program was dispirited and ill-organized. There was no proper spirit behind the organization, and even it was not organized properly. So dispirited and ill-organized. The political machinery was well oiled with patronage and pelf. Pelf is the money that you get without doing hard work. So the political machinery was well oiled, that was lubricated through patronage and money. Rusty from disuse, something that is not being used and therefore it becomes rusty. Religion has always been a useful stalking horse for this purpose. London, under the Labour Party, exhausted by war, was determined to rid itself from the burdens of its Indian empire. So it was not that they were willing to liberate us, or they were willing to give us freedom, but it was because of England's own pathetic condition, because of world wars and heavily increasing debt. So they were willing to get rid of Indian empire. Pakistan was created by Jinnah's will and Britain's willingness, not by Nehru's willfulness. This is one of the major submissions of Dr. Shashi Tharoor through this book, that the creation of Pakistan was largely because of Jinnah's and Britain's willingness, and Nehru's willfulness was not the sole reason for the creation of Pakistan. It is a bit rich, as I pointed out in Oxford. I refers to Dr. Shashi Tharoor, particularly in connection to his very popular, internationally popular talk that he delivered at Oxford University on the topic reparation. Should Britain give reparation to the colonized countries. For the British to suppress, exploit, imprison, torture, and maim people for 200 years, and then celebrate the fact that they are a democracy at the end of it. Cut and run, the only viable option for the exhausted and debt-ridden England. This is the observation, and I have accentuated on this fact that ultimately the British people who were exhausted and growing indebtedness was going beyond ceilings. In those situations, the only practical visible option for the Britain was to cut and run, cut this wonderful piece of land into two parts in the name of Pakistan and India, and then run away. So cut and run, divide and rule, cut and run. In the same vein, pithy one-liners, we can remember it. So cut and run, the only viable option for the exhausted Britain and debt-ridden England. No greater indictment of the failures of British rule in India can be founded than the tragic manner of its ending. The way it ended, it ended with a tragic partition of India into India and Pakistan. So that was the biggest failure of colonialism in India. This view is either naive or self-serving. It is difficult to decide which. Indentured labor, financial prudence, sagacity, being wise in economic affairs. It was the common economic wisdom that government intervention in famines was unnecessary and even harmful. The newspapers were persuaded into silence. If you have to convince somebody not to open up or not to speak up on certain issues, there you can use this phrase, the newspapers. You can replace newspapers. The dissenters were persuaded into silence. So the people who were revolting, they were persuaded, they were mollified, they were convinced into silence. So to persuade somebody something, to persuade somebody into silence, that's the structural gain we take from here. Tight lease in expenditure and ill will. The effect was calamitous and millions died in famines. Major blow to their present prospects and darken their future hopes. The facts of British culpability, the word culpability has already been taken in the vocabulary section. So those who are watching this video for the first time and not familiar with that may go back on the previous videos and can learn words like culpability and many more. Inattentive and unsportive British government as a form of seva, sharing proof, deaths caused by plague were seen as providential remedy for overpopulation. See, this speaks volumes of truth about how difficult times have been there in colonialism when Britishers used to see famines or deaths caused by plague and famines as providential remedy for overpopulation, that this will help them to deal with overpopulation of India. Colonial malfeasance, colonial cruelty. Malfeasance has also been taken up in the previous videos. From the behavior of British officials and ministers during the Bengal famine, a picture emerges that strips away the last thread of moral justification for the empire. Worsened by colonial policy, indentured servitude. Political troublemakers, they played their roles as cogs in the wheels of the imperial machine. A cog in the machine is a significant part, very determinantal, to enter a life and death lottery. Exigency of colonial project, calculated plans, public gibbets, brute force, a byword for geniality. Gang rape by the police was not uncommon. So for saying something that was common, when we can say it is a common practice, and the second way of saying the same thing, maybe that was not uncommon. It means it was common. The excuse will not wash. Grave error, textual harassment, denationalizing Indians, private enterprises and public risk, unsymptomatic foreigners were withdrawn. The clinching proof of this argument to economize retrospective critique, double standards prevailed in other ways, bubonic plague, the true textbook for the pupil is his teacher. And this is a very remarkable statement, I should say. This small sentence is a big and guiding principle for all of us in the contemporary times when the students are turning up to so many external resources for learning. So for them, the true textbook for the pupil is his teacher. Flagrant contemptuous dismal of Oriental learning. To their credit, Western nomenclature, this did happen to come to some extent. Vernacular teaching remained an orphan profession. Remained an orphan profession, a profession that was hardly practiced by any. So like an orphan, like a child who has lost his or her parents, better than basic knowledge of English. Problem persisted throughout British rule. The Indian mind has been made barren of many originality and deliberately kept in ignorance. The people's character is deliberately debased. The mind is denationalized and perpetually kept in ignorance and fed with stories of England's greatness and mission in the world. So that's all in this video. If you have not watched the previous videos, visit this channel, browse it and learn from the previous videos. And don't forget to share and subscribe, like and comment. Thank you.